I'm going to have you just meet me at the top of your mat. We're going to start with some pretty typical stretches, pretty typical little bit of a flow, but just to get us moving a little bit differently and to get our heart rates up a little bit. We'll start with a flow, we'll get into some mobility, and then we'll finish off with some core, because we can't skip the core in yoga and Pilates. So starting off pretty basic from the top of our mat. We're going to take 4 nice deep breaths. The fourth one is going to take us gently into our forward fold. As always, with that first inversion, be gentle with yourself, but first and foremost, those 3 breaths leading with our arms. So that inhale is going to take us out and up. When you get to the top, pause there for a moment for me. Take that nice big stretch long way from center, maybe that little baby back bend, and then that exhale just brings those arms down and around. So we're kind of holding our breath just a little bit at the top. Let's take 2 more just like that. Our inhale takes us up. When you get the top, pause just a little bit, stretch just a little bit further, fingertips up as high as they can go. Exhale brings them down. And one more exactly like that. Take it with your own breath. So if you're breathing a little bit faster or slower, as always, that is totally fine. All right, and like I said, on this fourth one, we're going to take it nice and easy into that forward fold. So our inhale is still going to take us up. We're still going to pause at the top, take that nice big stretch. And then as we float those arms down, roll it down 1 vertebrae at a time. So start by tucking the chin in towards the chest, open the shoulder blades, round the spine out, and just gently roll it down, fingertips towards the toes. Now, like I said, first inversion, first big stretch, be gentle on yourself. If you need to kind of stay halfway up just to get started, that's totally fine. If you need that gentle bend in those knees, that's totally fine. We're going to take 2 nice deep breaths just gently in this fold. And then with our next 3 nice deep breaths, we're going to find our halfway lifts. So with your inhale, coming to that halfway lift, that flat back, that long spine, and most importantly, that nice active core, pull the belly button in towards the spine. Exhale back down into that fold. We're going to do that twice more, nice and easy. Once again, if you're breathing a little faster or slower, take it at your own pace. Find those inhales and exhales. I know sometimes I get off pace because I'm talking. And when you finish that third one, just ease yourself with that exhale right back down into that fold. When you get there, we're going to take 2 more nice deep breaths. If you'd like to find opposite elbow with opposite hand, or find maybe a little bit of side to side, that's fabulous. If you prefer to just stay right down the center, that's fine. 1 more nice deep breath here. All right, we're going to gently take it down into our low lunge. So I want you to go ahead and bend those knees so those fingertips can touch and support. Send that right foot back nice and long. Bring that knee down to the mat, and then that top of that foot down to the mat. We're just going to start by pausing here in this low lunge. I know if you sit all day, that hip flexor can get a little bit tight. So take just a moment there and find that gentle lunge. Maybe press those hips down just a little bit and then ease out of it. Maybe you're in that taller version where the torso is up, those hips turn under, and you press the hips a little bit forward. Choosing the option that feels good. Take 1 nice deep breath here. And then let's send it back for our hamstring stretch. So those hips send back, that front leg lengthens, those front toes lift, and we hinge just slightly forward. As always, fingertips can be down by your sides for a little bit more support, or they can be out towards those toes for a little bit deeper of a stretch. We're going to do 1 more time just like that in each direction. So coming forward for your version of that low lunge, whether those hands come down or whether the torso stays tall, whichever feels better, specifically for that quad and that hip flexor on that back leg. And then back for that hamstring stretch. Excellent. Let's go ahead and take it forward. We're coming back to that low lunge. We're just going to change up what we're doing here as we get forward this time. So we're going to start with a spinal twist. My left leg is forward, so my right hand is going to stay down, and I'm going to open that left arm. So I'm opening the torso towards that left knee. So nice big spinal twist, left fingertips up towards the ceiling. And then just bring them gently right back down to meet. And we're going to switch it up. So a little bit more balance, a little bit different here. That right arm is going to lift this time. So opening away from that front leg. And then back down. One more time each direction. So left arm lifts towards that front leg. And back down through center. And then right arm lifts. And then bring it back down. All right. We're going to change it up just a little bit here. We're going to take it into a little bit of ankle mobility. So if you're someone who likes to weightlift, if you're someone who does squats, sometimes that ankle mobility can be a little bit of a limiting range of motion. So we're going to use this low lunge that we're in to just kind of work on it. Now, when I get into this drill, this exercise, I have to move my heel a little bit closer towards my back knee, just shorten that stance a little bit. And we're going to work pressing that left knee a little bit forward. So it's almost coming over our toes, or it is coming over our toes if you have that mobility there. So I'm still going to bring my fingertips down for support, but for the sake of you being able to see this knee, I'm going to sit up a little bit taller. I'm just going to press that knee forward as far as I can go while my heel is still on the mat. So I'm not lifting my heel. I'm not bringing it up here for that range of motion. I'm just pressing it forward. So if yours just come right over top of your toes, that's fine. Or if they go a little bit further, that's fine. As always, pain-free range of motion. Ease back off of it. We're going to do that just twice more. Little pause when you get out there. So pressing forward, pressing that knee right over top of those toes. We're working on that ankle mobility. And I did this when I was creating this, so mine are feeling pretty good right now because I already warmed them up. You might feel this stretch through your calf. Go ahead and ease off of it. We're going to do that one more time, just like that. So pressing forward, pressing that knee forward, that calf stretch, that ankle mobility work, that heel is firmly planted on the floor. And then bring it back. All right, I'm just going to make that lunge that more natural spacing again. So just taking that right knee back a little bit further. And all we're going to do to finish out is a little bit of hip opening. I'm going to put my left hand on the inside of my left knee. My right hand comes back down to the mat. And I'm just going to push my left knee away from my center line. And it just lifts the ball of that foot up. So just opening through that hip. If that's painful, only take it as far as you can. So it doesn't need to open super far. Mine goes a little bit further again because I've been doing this for about an hour now. But if yours doesn't go quite that far, that's okay. Bring it back in, release that. We're going to do that just one more time. So just pressing gently away from that center line. And then bring it back in. Fabulous. All right, we're going to take it from here to our three-legged dog. So I want you to go ahead and plant those palms. Curl that right toe under. Lift the knee. And we're going to send that left leg up and back. Little stretch there. I want you to press that right heel down towards the mat. That nice stretch through that right leg. And this is going to take us into our half pigeon. So sweeping that leg underneath, shin meets the mat underneath those hips. Top of that right foot meets again, that right knee meets again, and then just sink into it. We've got 3 nice deep breaths in this half pigeon. So you can stay up tall if you'd like. You can bring it down to those elbows. You can bring that forehead to the backs of those hands. Or if you particularly like that quad stretch, you can point those right toes up towards the ceiling and find that a little bit more intense of that hip flexor or quad stretch. 2 more nice deep breaths there. All right, if you found that quad stretch, go ahead and release those toes back down towards the mat. If you found those elbows or that forehead on the mat, go ahead and plant those hands again. We're gonna do one more 3-legged dog, and it's gonna take us just into a little bit of a hip opener, and then we're switching sides. So curl the right toe under, lift the right knee, send the left foot up and back. When you get there, we're gonna find our hip opener. I want you to bend that left knee and just open that left hip towards that left wall. A little bit of balance here. So we're working on keeping our core strong so that we're not just flipping directly over, but only as far as you can go here. Very nice. Go ahead and lengthen that leg and set that left down next to the right. Downward facing dog. Take a moment if you'd like to pedal out those heels. Maybe shake the head nice and slow in your yes or no range of motion. All right, very nice. We're going to take it to that other side. So we're transitioning through our 3-legged dog. We're going to take it to that low lunge. So right foot's going to press up. I'm going to bend my left knee and sweep that right leg forward, planting it down. When you get there, go ahead and bend that left knee, bring it to the mat. Top of that left foot meets. We're going to do those front to back. So we have a couple moments in this low lunge. You can have those hands down. You can have that torso tall. Take a moment. Find that nice stretch in that low lunge, whichever works better for you. And then let's take it back for that hamstring stretch. Send those hips back, lengthen that front leg, hinge at those hips. Fingertips can go out or towards those toes. Taking it forward again, back into that low lunge, either version. And one more time back for that hamstring stretch. Send the hips back, lift the toes. Very nice. Let's take it right back out to that low lunge. We're going to do those spinal twists first. So I'm going to plant my left hand and open my right arm up. So I'm opening towards that right leg first. Spinal twist, right fingertips go up. And then back down to center. Again, that open away. So a little bit more balance here. Keep that core engaged. Open that left arm up. Maybe use that knee for a little bit of support. And go ahead and bring that back down. One more time each way. Right arm's going to open. And come back down. And same thing, second side, one more time. Left arm opens. And we bring it back down. Fabulous. Let's work on that ankle mobility up next. So again, I'm going to shorten that distance between my back knee and my front heel just to give me a little bit more space. And we're just going to go into it and out of it 3 times. So again, we're working on keeping that foot planted so the heel shouldn't lift when you do this. And just pressing that knee forward. You can use the floor for a little bit of support here as you go. And again, that stretch maybe through that calf. Maybe you feel a little bit through the front of the leg, but pain-free range of motion as always. So if you start to feel any pain, easing off of it a little bit. Ease back. We're going to do that twice more. So pressing forward. Nice little stretch. Work on that mobility. And press it back. And last time here. Pressing it forward. And releasing that. I'm going to make that lunge distance a little bit more natural. So just stepping it back a little bit. I'm going to do that press away from center. So my right hand's going to come to the inside of that right knee. And I'm just going to let that fall kind of towards that right side. So opening through that hip, as always, pain-free range of motion. So this is a little bit much. Just keep it in a little closer towards your center line. And go ahead and release that. We're just going to press back into that one more time. So pressing away from that center line, finding that stretch. And then bringing it back. All right, up next, we're taking it to that 3-legged dog, which will transition us to our half pigeon. So go ahead and plant those hands, curl that left toe under, lift that left knee. Right leg goes up and back for that little stretch for that left leg. So press that left heel down towards the mat. And then let's sweep that right leg underneath. The shin meets the mat for our half pigeon. So that shin underneath those hips, that top of that foot meets that mat, and we've got our 3 nice deep breaths here. So you can stay tall, you can bring it down, you can find that quad stretch, whatever suits you and your body best this evening. One more nice deep breath here. Fabulous. If you found that quad stretch, go ahead and release that foot. If you brought it down to those elbows or that forehead down, go ahead and bring it back to those palms. 3-legged dog to our hip opener here. So plant those hands, curl that left toe under, lift the knee, send the right foot up and back. Find that nice little stretch. And then when you're ready, we're going to bend that right knee and open that right hip towards that right wall. So again, keeping our balance, keep that core engaged here, keep both hands firmly planted. Very nice. Go ahead and lengthen that leg and set that right foot down next to the left. From here, let's take it out to our high push-up plank position. So if you need to adjust that distance between the hands and the toes, feel free, and then shift those shoulders right out over those wrists. Now working our core here, pull those shoulder blades apart from each other, keep that core active, belly button pulled in towards the spine, pressure through all 10 fingers. We're gonna find just a little hold here to get that core nice and active. As always, those knees can drop if you need them to, but keep those shoulders in line with the knees so we're still getting that core work in. Here we go for 4, 3, 2, 1. Just gently bring those knees down, send those hips back, give those shoulders a little stretch. We're gonna do that one more time. Let's take it right back up and out. So plant those hands, bring those shoulders over those wrists, step those feet back nice and long. A little shorter on this one because we're going to make our transition to our low plank. So for now, just hold on that high plank for me. Now, if you've done this transition before and you know it's really tough, I encourage you to drop to those knees. Be safe on this. But all we're going to do is from this plank, bend those elbows, bring them down, and take it right to that low plank. So when you're ready, go ahead and bring it down. Like I said, if you need to, that little extra support, drop those knees, then bring it down, and you can stay there, or you can lift them back up into that plank. Very nice. All right, so not quite a break, but a little bit different. We're going to take it into our dolphin. I'm going to walk my feet in just 2 or 3 tiptoes and then press those hips up and those shoulders back. So my chest presses back. This is kind of like our downward facing dog. We're working those shoulders a little bit here. Still that nice stretch for those heels, a little less on that core. Very nice. And we're going to use this to take it into our puppy. So drop those knees right underneath those hips. Send those arms out nice and long into that puppy pose. Press that chest down towards the mat. Hips are over those knees, so similar to our child's pose, but with the hips up nice and high. That gives a little more space for that chest stretch. And let's bring it on up to hands and knees. So getting that little adjustment, pull those wrists underneath those shoulders. All right, we're at our hands and knees. Let's take 2 nice deep breaths in our cat and cow. Inhale, belly drops towards the floor, hips and chin lift. Exhale, spine rounds up. Same thing one more time. And then bring it back to that nice neutral spine. We're going to go on a little threads and needles, so spinal twist again, kind of similar to what we did on our low lunge. But we're just going to stick to one side. So let's start with that right hand here, since that'll bring me facing you. Right arm is going to reach up. So we're going to open through the chest, fingertips reach up as high as you can with that inhale. Our exhale is going to take us down and through. You can take it as far down as you'd like to. Maybe the shoulder comes all the way down to the mat. Maybe it doesn't quite, but finding that spinal twist in that opposite direction. Same as our cat and cow, let's flow with our breath. Those inhales pull you up and away from center, fingertips towards the ceiling. Exhales pull you down and through. Couple more here, just flowing with your breath. Keeping it moving right like that. Wherever you are in your cycle, give me one more time up. And then when you come back down, we're just going to pause in that spinal twist, that low spinal twist. So when you get there, that right shoulder meets the mat. Those fingertips are out towards that opposite wall. That left hand has a couple of options. It can stay right where it is. It can come out a little longer to give the wrist a little bit of a break. You can find your half bind, fingertips up, palm behind, bend at the elbow. Or you can find your T-spine rotation. So starting with that arm out, that opposite palm comes to meet, and we're finding that similar spinal twist. Fingertips come up and then back down. We've got 3 more nice deep breaths in this low twist, and then we'll switch sides. All right, when you're ready, if you took that left hand anywhere away from where it was, go ahead and make your way back to planted right on top of that shoulder. And then we're going to reach up with that right arm one more time just to release that twist. And then right arm comes down next to the left. Same thing on that other side here. Left arm, find your pace of your breath. Inhale, lifts us up nice and long. Exhale, brings us down and through as far as you'd like to go. So maybe the shoulder doesn't quite meet the floor. That's fine. All right, so from wherever you are, give me that one more time, that lift and lower. After you do that, we're going to go ahead and release that left shoulder down to the mat in that low spinal twist. Same couple of options. That hand can stay down. It can reach out. You can find that T-spine rotation, or you can find that half bind, that hand reaching towards that opposite hip. Choose the option that works for you. 3 nice deep breaths here. And when you're ready, planting that right hand back to where it was. One more lift with that left. And then bring it back down right to where we were at that hands and knees. All right, finishing off our little bit of mobility here on this first part before we get to some plank work. We're just going to work on those wrists for a couple of moments. We're going to do sets of 3. We're going to start from right where we are. I'm going to focus on my right wrist, and then I'm going to move my way to my left. So all I'm going to do is same as we kind of did with the knee is work on that mobility a little bit. I'm still going to use my left for support so that all of my weight isn't on it, but I just want to drift that shoulder over top of those fingertips just as far as you can go. Again, pain-free range of motion, and then back and just kind of release off of it. So we're just going to do that 2 more times, so 3 total. That gentle press out, and then releasing it. And then 1 more time, just like that. That gentle press out. And then that release. We're going to keep our focus on our right hand for 1 more set of 3. I'm going to turn it so the top of my hand meets the mat. This is a lot more uncomfortable of a position. So not putting a whole ton of pressure on it. Most of my weight is on my left hand. And I'm just going to do the opposite. I'm just going to drift that shoulder backwards, so kind of towards those fingertips. And then release off of it. A little bit less of a hold on this one because it's a little bit more intense. As always, pain-free range of motion. So only as far as you can go. Find that stretch, but no pain. Might be uncomfortable, but not painful. After that third one, we're just going to go ahead and switch sides. When we finish these, I promise we're getting to some core work. So when you switch to that left, same thing. We're going to do 3 of each direction, starting by drifting that shoulder out over those left fingertips. And I've kind of scooted my right hand a little bit further, so it's not getting the same stretch as my left. I'm just using it for that support. And then when you finish that first side, flip so the top of that hand meets the mat. And this time we drift back just slightly. When you finish that third, go ahead and press back into your child's pose for just a moment. Release those wrists. Maybe give them a couple circles. Maybe just shake them out wherever you need to be. Taking your time, finishing out that mobility. A little bit of weighted mobility there. Alrighty, let's take it up a notch. Let's take it into some more plank work, some more core work. We'll finish with some true to form Pilates work. Plant those hands, lift those hips up and over, set me back into a plank here. Meet me back in that plank once again. So shoulders are over those wrists. We've got all 10 fingers still digging down into that mat, creating that nice base of support. We're going to do super slow and controlled mountain climbers. So go ahead and pull that right knee underneath, in between those elbows, little pause at that tail end, and then step it back out. Now, this is a tough one to take slow, so bear with me, stick with me. You guys got this. Pulling that knee right in between, right down the center, little pause, and then back out. Keep that pressure through all 10 fingers, so not a lot of pressure through the wrists. Keeping it moving. Very nice, very nice. Next time you pull that right knee under, I want you to pause there for just an extra moment. Pause there for just an extra moment. Can you keep that core engaged? Pull that knee in and up. Little hold, little hold. 3, 2, step it back out. Step it back out. Left side, same thing. Pull that left knee in. Find that little hold for me. We're almost there. We're almost there. You guys got this. 3, 2, 1. Very nice. Step it back. Press those hips up and back. Down dog. Walk those feet forward and meet those hands. Forward fold. Take the pressure off those wrists, off those shoulders. Give them a little shake. Give them a little relax. Maybe let the head and neck relax and release. Whew. Excellent work. Let's take a little halfway lift just twice here with your inhale. Find that halfway lift, that flat back, long spine. Exhale back into that fold. 1 more time, that inhale, halfway lift. And exhale back into that fold. Step that right foot back nice and long. Toe down, heel up. Find your balance, find your core, sweep up into our crescent. We've got that nice bend in that left knee. We've got that strong core. All right, very nice. A little bit of balance work here. We're going to shift that weight over that left foot. Step off of that right. Bring it up into that warrior 3. Step that right down next to the left, back into that fold. 2 more halfway lifts. Inhale, flat back, long spine. Exhale to fold. Same thing, flat back, long spine. Exhale to fold. Left leg this time steps back nice and long, toe down, heel up, right knee is bent. We swoop it up into our crescent. Keep that bend in that right knee. Find your balance. Find that nice strong core to use for your balance. All right, here we go. One more time. Gently into that warrior three. Take your weight over that right leg this time. Gently lift those toes if you can. If not, those toes are tapped. We want that nice long spine. And set that left foot down next to the right. Take it into that fold. All right, we're going to heel toe those feet so that the heels are on the outside of our mat, the short end of our mat here. Toes point just slightly away from center. So they're a little wider than my hips. Fingertips are still down the middle. We're going to take it into our low squat. So if you need a little more or less space, that's totally fine. Make adjustments as we come into it. But I want you to bend those knees and sink those hips down in between. If you can only get down to right about here, that's totally fine. If you've got a little bit deeper of that squat, sink down into it if you can. If you can keep those hands lifted, that's fabulous. If you need to use them for support, that's totally fine. Let's find our spinal twist in this. Left hand comes down to the mat. Right arm opens. Look up towards those fingertips. And bring that right hand down. Same thing on that other side. Right hand meets the mat. Left arm opens. Look towards those fingertips. Bring it back down. All we're going to do to come out of this is lengthen those legs. So lift those hips. Keep that spine or that forward fold here for me. We're going to do that one more time. So when you're ready, sink those hips into that deep squat. Take a moment. Now that spinal twist, left fingertips come down, right fingertips open, we look towards them. And then back down and switch sides. Left fingertips open, right are down. And back down. Now from here, we got a little core front to finish this off. You can make that transition however you'd like to. I'm just close enough to the ground that I can gently bring it back. If you aren't, feel free to scoot yourself forward, set those knees down, and sink it around. And now is the perfect time for a sip of your beverage before we get into that little bit of core front work to finish us off, or any range of motion that you feel like you need. After all that mobility work, maybe a little bit of cramping, maybe just release, open up something. Whew, we've got a little core work to finish us off. All right. So like I said, making your way down onto the mat, however you needed to there. And we're going to start off with just a gentle forward fold, as usual, wherever you'd like your feet to be. So if you want them down the center, if you want them out wide, if you want the soles of those feet together, we're just going to do it once. So choose the option that you would really like to do right now. Find that inhale to that super long spine, and in that exhale, just go ahead and make your way into that fold. Whew. And same as always with your fold, if you'd like to round out the spine a little bit and get more of a stretch there, that's fabulous. If you want to keep the spine a little longer and hinge at the hips to find more of a stretch through the legs, that is also fine. All right, let's go ahead and roll it back up to that nice long spine. Keep that left heel planted, pull that right knee in towards your chest. We're going to use that for support and roll it on down onto the mat. All right, let's get our single leg stretch going here. We're going to lift that left foot a couple inches up off of that mat. Higher is going to be easier, lower is going to be harder. Lift the head and shoulders for a little bit more intensity here. Right is going to go out to meet the left. Arms are going to come up overhead for even more work. Pause in the center and then pull that left knee in. A couple times here, keep moving at your own pace, but make sure you pause in the center. Don't skip that part of this movement. That's the part that makes this challenging. Again, if you need a little easier, take those toes up towards the ceiling. Keeping on working just like that. Keep that lower back nice and controlled by keeping the belly button pulled in towards the spine. Here we go for another 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Take that right foot pointed up towards the ceiling. You can let that left heel and the head and shoulders release and relax for a moment if you'd like. All right, that was our single leg stretch. This is our straight leg stretch. It's our double pulse and our scissor to switch. So go ahead and reach up, lift the head and shoulders up off that mat, lift that left heel up off the mat. Here we go. We've got that 1, 2, and then switch those legs. So this time they're not meeting out long in the center. We're going to scissor to switch. They switch at the same time. A couple times just like that. Keep that core pulled in nice and tight. Finishing off with this little bit of Pilates core work after all that mobility. Fabulous, fabulous. We're here for another 4, 3, 2, 1. Take those right toes back up towards the ceiling. Plant that left heel. This time, definitely let the head and shoulders release and relax. Take those hands out into a nice A-frame, nice and supportive. We've got hip circles. So starting with those right toes up, we're going to come across the body, down and around, away from the body, and back to the top. A couple times, just like that. Nice big circles across the body. Keep your core engaged so those hips aren't moving around. I want them to be nice and solid and only as much as your range of motion allows here. Give me one more nice big circle in this direction, and then we're just going to trade directions. Trade directions, not feet yet. So right toes still point up. This time we're going to come away from that center line, around and across, and then up. Same thing. So we worked that hip mobility with that super deep squat and that spinal twist, and now we're working that hip flexor strength with these circles. One more in this direction. One more. When you finish it, take your time, give yourself a little bit of a break. Maybe the knee pulls in towards the chest. Maybe it's a spinal twist. Maybe just kind of let yourself flop down onto the mat, whatever feels good. Two deep breaths. All right, we've got to hit that other side. So that right heel stays down on the mat this time. Left leg reaches up. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to come across the body first. So use those arms for support. Keep those hips down. Left leg comes across the body towards our right side, out and around, and back up a couple times in this first direction. I love these. These are humbling exercises. If you're like me and you don't have a whole ton of hip flexor strength, perfect for if you're a runner or a biker and you need that strength, especially to protect those knees. Give me one more circle in this first direction, and then we're switching. Last little bit of that hip work. Finish off with a little bit more core. So switching directions, we're coming away from our center line first. You guys are doing great. We're almost there. We're almost there. Fabulous. Give me one more in this second direction. Final hip circle, and then give yourself that recovery time once again. So maybe knee pulled in towards the chest, maybe spinal twist, maybe you just give it the old flop. All right, nice. Go ahead and pull both knees in towards the chest for me here. Lift the head and shoulders. We got our double leg stretch here. So same as our single leg, we're going to meet out long. Inhale takes us long in both directions. Arms and legs into our hollow position. Exhale pulls us around. Knees come back in towards the chest and the arms come around to catch. Keep moving here a couple times at your own pace. Higher, easier, lower, harder. Move where you need to keep that lower back nice and safe. So if you need a little less work on this one, take those feet up towards the ceiling a little further. Depending on where you're at tonight, you guys are doing awesome. We are so close. We are so close. Don't forget to breathe here. Big inhales and exhales. Keep moving for me in this one for another 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Pull those knees into the chest. Give yourself a little break. 2 more movements. We're going to cut our 100 in half and just do a 50. First option has those feet on the floor. Second option, knees at tabletop. Third option, legs out long. We're going to point those fingertips towards that opposite wall. Palms are down. We're moving those hands in those sequences of 5. Getting ready. We're just doing 50. So just half. Lift the head and shoulders for more challenge here. We go. We're going in. 2, 3, 4, 5. Out. 2, 3, 4, 5. In. 2, 3, 4, 5. Out. 2, 3, 4, 5. In. 2, 3, 4, 5. Out. 2, 3, 4, 5. In. 2, 3, 4, 5. Out. 2, 3, 4, 5. In. 2, 3, 4, 5. Out. 2, 3, 4. And relax. Give yourself a little break. Final movement coming at us. Whew. All right, we're making our way into our boat to finish this off. I want you to inhale, Take it long in both directions, long in both directions. Exhale brings us up to those hips. So bring it up to that boat pose. When you get there, you can plant those heels. You can keep them right here, or you can lengthen those legs wherever you are. We've got about 30 seconds here, about 30 seconds here. Leaning it back a little bit further is going to make it a little harder. We're almost done. This is it. This is it. Finishing out strong. Awesome. We're about halfway there. Don't forget to breathe here. Keep that lower back nice and long, nice and strong and protected. Very nice. We've got 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lengthen those legs, fold it forward, release the lower back. Excellent. Go ahead and bring it on up to that comfortable seated position. Whew. All right, if you're finding a different recovery pose, that's fabulous. You can stay right there. We're almost out of time. I don't want to get cut off. One nice deep breath to finish us off. That inhale takes us out and up. Palms meet right up overhead. Exhale pulls the hands down to heart center. Thank you for practicing with me tonight. Have a great rest of your week. I hope to see you next time. The light in me honors the light in you. Bowing, as we say, namaste.